I actually am pleasantly surprised. I got some people who asked me to do more videos on what I've been doing to the bike. I stopped doing them because I didn't think it was helping anybody. Most of the stuff that I'm finding out and doing to the bike is sort of out there, and I'm sorry my garage is a mess. I have a long story to go into about the Scrambler power steering and what a mess it was, and it was really difficult for me to get the system to work. In full disclosure, Super ATV were amazing about it. They helped me through the whole thing. If anybody gets a power steering system for a 16 or above Scrambler and you can't figure it out, feel free to hit me up. I will do the best I can to help you. I'm going to tell you right now that it requires some customization, and I'll show you that in this video. So one of the first things that you should probably pick up for yourself if you're going to be working on your Scrambler is one of these, right? So they had a Labor Day, or not Labor Day, is it Labor Day? Yeah, May. In May, they had a sale on these Harbor Freight ATV jacks, and the aluminum one works great. Now, if you put your bike on there and you work on it, it's going to sway a little bit. But I was hammering on this thing, and I'm a big boy, and I was on top of the bike with it on this jack, and it worked just fine. So I'm not really sure where to start, but I'll do the best I can. So one of the things I've been doing after races is picking up this stuff from Harbor Freight. It's a degreaser, concentrated degreaser. I don't even think it has a brand name. But if you have a Harbor Freight near you and you want to help get the mud off of your bike, this stuff works great. Also, you can use this stuff right here, which is the LA is totally awesome. They sell these in dollar stores. And, I'll be honest with you, I don't have any idea what's in that shit, but it works great. And then pick up one of these sprayers. Got one of these for, actually, here it is. Item number is 63124 for Harbor Freight. Works great. So I fill that up. I don't water it down. After I ride, I spray the whole quad down with the degreaser, and honestly, a lot of the mud falls off by itself. I've added some new wheels. These are Kaiser wheels with Dirt Commander 26x9 tires on them. I am still getting used to how the ATV world decides to have their bikes handle. For me, my bike handles like Tokyo Drift. I'm drifting the bike the whole time, which is a little disconcerting in corners. But again, I'm a rookie driver. I'm still learning, I'm doing the best I can. I was thinking about going to a different A-arm system with these wheels are a zero offset. And I was going to go to a smaller A-arm and then spend the money for the shorter axles, and then widen my tire widen my wheel with the zero offset. And I'm not sure how many people out there know, but road racing guys and custom wheel guys, you can actually widen your wheel if you want to. It's a little bit pricey, but it's worth it and it'll hold up. But again, I'm learning, and hopefully I won't have to spend any money instead of my skill set getting better, throwing money at it. I went with the Elka Stage 4 shocks. One of the guys who races at GNCCB, Christopher Reagan, sold them to me. Chris has been instrumental in my ability to get this bike to do what I needed to do in order to at least be close to competing. I'm still really bad. I'm still shitty compared to everyone else. But these shocks are pretty good. They don't beat me up. I'm not exhausted by the end of the ride. They take the whoops really well. I've jumped it inadvertently, and it worked out just fine. Couple people asked me about this wrap, and I've been hesitant to talk about this wrap. In fact, I hid the company's name underneath my my little mascot, Philadelphia mascot sticker here. I'm not happy with this wrap, and I believe the company's name is AMA or something like that. First and foremost is when I looked on the internet at this, it's not even a wrap, it's a sticker kit. It didn't show that this was the white was gonna show through, and that really bothers me. It annoys me that they don't show this like this. I didn't know until I already installed some of the pieces on the bike. It doesn't come with any instructions. I had to do all this myself. It's held up okay. Where the exhaust is, it's peeled. I'm not happy. For the other reason is that I wrote them and I said, hey, look, I'm from Philadelphia, and I want some Philadelphia Flyers colors, orange and black, whatever. And I gave them my cell phone number and my email address to say, like, hey, look, if the wrap's not coming out, give me a shout and we'll talk about it. And they never did. A couple days later, I got the wrap in the mail, or the sticker kit in the mail, and it has like this bronze color. I don't know. I'm just not. And I wrote them and I said, hey, look, I'm not happy with this, and I never got a response back. In order for me to get this, as you can see that there's some spotting on here. In order for me to get this spotting off, I have to use Mother's Back to Black. Which any car or anything else that's going to have a shiny surface is going to have water spots and stuff, but this material seems to really hold on to water spots and scratching and stuff. The glue, on a positive note, the glue that is on the stickers is superior. It hasn't come off. And when I, as you can see from racing, mostly I guess on this side, I've tagged it up quite a bit, and it's held up, and it's held up to a pressure washer. So I don't know. Maybe I got unlucky, it's just it sort of pisses me off that it wasn't the color I wanted, and it has these gaps in it. If I knew it was going to have these gaps in it, I would have incorporated white into the color scheme. But it is what it is. And what another thing that sort of annoys me, and I hate always to bring this up, is like when I was looking at this wrap, they said all this shit about like we support veterans and all this other kind of stuff, and I wrote in my letter like, hey, I'm a vet, and the camouflage actually means something to me. I'm not just some try hard trying to get attention on the internet with my wrap or whatever, and it just didn't seem to register. So. And the company their logos came in three spots, right here and on either sides of what would be considered the tank, on like a Harley, and I got rid of it. So anyway, moving on. So I went with the fast handlebar system. I have been dealing with numerous. One thing about the wrap. Sorry, before I move on. Difficulty. It is. You need a heat gun, and you need a squeegee. This is not child safe to put on. I'm going to tell you that right now. So see how this stuff see how like right here, the contours, the bends, that you're going to need a heat gun and some skill in order to get this to do this. And the only reason that I even knew it is because I've had guys who do vinyl wraps on cars show me a thing or two. But you can see that it's bubbling. There's a couple places where it's not holding up. But, you know, it's an ATV. You know, I'm 50-50 on it. Anyway, so I got the fast handlebar system. Huge deal as far as how good it is compared to stock stuff. There's the stock stuff right there, which honestly sucks. Like, Polaris seriously needs to step it up. Got the orange, pad. I got the red poly shock absorbers in there. You have to move the pod to this area because the Fast sells a relocation kit, but it doesn't work for our pods. And I sort of screwed this up. It's not exactly on. It's not exactly centered. I had to do a little bit of altering. I can tell you, if you want an easier to install, the higher you move this up, the better you're going to be. Because the way I have it, Polaris in their infinite wisdom, their the pigtail for the plug-in for the gauge is kind of cantered or kind of off to the side, so it hits the air box underneath. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, you can't see it. So if you're going to do this, I suggest you move it up farther. It's going to make your life a lot easier. It's not going to look as trick, but it's going to be an easier install. So how I did this, right? Okay, so I took the gauge, this area right here, off. I took this area, this little thing right here, this black piece, and I traced it. And then I used a Dremel to cut out the plastic. And then, of course, this was too big, and then I just kind of whittled it down with one of these on the Dremel. Prepare yourself to get completely filthy. It's gonna throw plastic everywhere. So make sure you're protecting your air box, because you don't want. It's not ideal to suck in that plastic. It's not really going to hurt it because it's going to melt as soon as it goes into the combustion chamber, but it's going to make your ride a little finicky for a little bit until all that plastic makes it through. What else? Oh, I got the Rogue grips with the orange Rogue grips with my name engraved into them. Pretty happy about that. It's pretty neat. I'm about 75% happy with the way my handlebar setup is. I want to get rid of this. Everyone tells me I'm going to need reverse override. I believe them because they're more experienced than me, but I don't see me needing it. But I'm going to keep it because they said so. But dude, the fast handlebars are clutch. I also have a 2-inch Rox riser. These don't come with instructions. So if anybody's watching this video and you're planning on getting Rox risers, here's how it looks installed. I am not a smart man, and it took me a while to figure out how to install these, how they fit into the handlebar clamp. In fact, I had to message one of my guys and say, hey man, can you send me a picture of your handlebars, because I can't figure this out. What else did I add? So I added these Rox. Foot pegs. They work great, except that Rox sent me one with the foot peg thing facing the wrong way. And then my very first race, even before I installed these, the rivet popped out. So I'm going to give Rox a call, see if they'll take care of me. I'll let you know in future videos. But man, they work great. Huge difference, man. I had a really muddy race, and I needed the extra grip, and it really worked. So here's something that you're not going to be able to see, but I've been doing anyway. So Rust-Oleum makes something called Never Wet. Okay, it's a 2-part application system for whatever you want to put it on. Now I don't know if you can see it or not, but see how this is like an off color, and I don't know if you can hear it. It's sort of scratchy. So that's the Never Wet stuff. I'm telling you right now, don't yell at me later. Never Wet dries on black like a bluish hue. On white, it dries clear. It makes it like a milky color. But holy shit, does it not attract mud? Anything that hits these fenders, unless it's really, really wedged up in here, the Never Wet gets rid of all of it. I don't know if you can see the little off color, off bluish color, but no mud sticks to that. If you can deal with it looking like that, and as you can see here, it just peels right off. It comes off just fine. See, the stuff just comes right off. You can use mineral spirits or whatever it's called to get it all off, but see, and then it's back to black underneath. What else? Okay, so anybody who has been racing knows that weight is always the enemy. And as a current fat ass, I went with a WPS lightweight battery. There's the old battery. Here's the new battery. This battery weighs... Do I have my little lights on here? Yeah. And it charges. You don't need a special charger for this thing. It charges on its own. I rode this bike for 4 hours the other day. No issues with charging. Where was I going with this? Oh, so this battery weighs 2 pounds. It is significantly lighter than the stock battery. Works great. Bike cranks just fine. I removed my headlights because I smashed into a tree on my last GNCC race, and I took them out just again for weight savings. I'm a big proponent of getting rid of as much weight as humanly possible on these machines, especially with the frame issues that these have. One thing though, when you do take your headlights out and you have the what do you call it? So I don't know what you want to, the things that make the headlights still light up, which these aren't them. I'm pointing to the wrong thing because I'm a moron. Right here, you want to tape them off, and then you want to make sure that you don't ever flip your headlights on, especially in the rain. Guess how I found out? It'll pop the fuse. It's a 20 amp fuse. So, Polaris, thanks for the extra storage because that's where I keep all my 20 amp fuses. It pops out, pops back in. You'll know it's a problem because the bike won't start. So you're gonna, while you're holding down the lever, the bike won't start. You'll notice that your tail lights won't work either if you still have a tail light, which I suggest taking these off because I'm going to take mine off soon anyway. So it's a 20 amp fuse, in, out, it fixes the problem. All right. Polaris is with the overheating issues, right? So I don't know if I did this in a prior video or what, but I'll show you what I did to help with. And again, I'm sorry, I'm not a professional YouTube dude. I'm bad with my presentation, I suppose. These things have an issue with overheating. The smaller battery is going to alleviate some of that because it's going to increase more room for cold air to be pulled through, because this is a draw-through radiator. I think I fucked up in my last video when I said it was a blow-through. It's not. It's a draw-through radiator. So it's going to be able to, with the battery, draw more air through. It's not going to sit there and superheat anything. Also, I made these heat reliefs. These heat extractors will actually pull hot air out of underneath the hood. Again, I used a Dremel. Pretty happy with it. And then I duct taped the fuse box and stuff like that, just as, you know, double coverage. So now here's the. Hold on, I'm gonna need a light for this. Sorry. All right, so Rocky Mountain ATV sells a power steering kit for the Polaris Scrambler. It works great once you get it working. So here's a couple things. I guess the frame is different from previous models, and I actually had to customize quite a lot in order to get this kit to work. Right here, right below where my fingertip is, see that? That's a spacer that I had to make. And there's another one right here too, under here. I had to get washers. I had to get different bolts from Ace Hardware. What else did I have to do? I had to modify how the steering rack fits into the diff. Oh, I added Rick Checo. Sorry, Rick. I don't know how to pronounce your name. I added those in to the frames. But this power steering unit is a beast. There's the ECU for it. I ran the wires underneath here. And then I put the power steering unit on. It's night and day. You can't compete without power steering with one of these. I'm prior military. I'm still in good shape, even though I'm a little chubby. I'm a pretty strong dude, and I had muscle failure, 15 minutes into my rides. So that's the one side. Here's the other. The install is a pain in the ass. You have to pull the gas tank out, and as you can see how clean my gas tank is, that's because I put the Never Wet stuff on. There's the actual power steering unit. So besides altering, see there you got a good shot of the spacers right there. Besides altering the putting the spacers in, you're going to have to also alter your steering stem. I don't know what the fuck you call this, the holder thing. You're going to have to alter that too. You're going to have to shave it down a little bit in order for it to fit. I think the last thing I also changed was I put on a heat wrap on my exhaust. There's no negative to doing this. Man, these metal zip ties are a fucking pain in the ass. I can tell you that though. So future plans. So here's the exhaust strap. I don't know if anybody's ever seen this shit before. That's the exhaust strap stuff. If you have questions about the exhaust strap, if you have questions about any of this stuff, message me and I'll get back to you best I can. I just had a daughter, so I'm a little slow on the internet lately, but I'll do the best I can. Future plans are to get a fucking sway bar for this thing. I have a hard time separating my car stuff from the ATV stuff, and I think it probably frustrates a lot of people. But there's some things that just physics just doesn't, physics are physics. So in order to get, a lot of guys are compensating for body movement with their shocks. And it's bad on the bike, it's bad on your body, and it really should be, the work should be being done through the sway bar. So I already talked to a company, I'm going to get a sway bar made. Maybe it's a waste of money. Everyone might be right, I might be wrong, but like I said, the same thing with the tire thing. Like these tires to me need to be a little bit wider in order to increase traction. I don't see why you would want less traction, but everyone does it, so I must be the weirdo. Anyway, so future plans are to get a sway bar on this thing, do some serious weight reduction. If I have to customize something to get weight out of it, even if it's a couple ounces, it's worth it. One thing you learn in drag racing is that racing is a game of milliseconds. So, the less weight you have and the less weight that's on the bike, the less weight is on your suspension. More gas you're going to save, the less abuse on the frame. I'll probably be getting some lightweight bolts. And start replacing all the bolts on the bike. I even went to lighter lug nuts. So I think that's it. I think that's where I'm at with this thing. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. And I hope you're enjoying the build. Thanks for actually giving me feedback and saying that you guys wanted to hear more about this. Anyway, I'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching.